OutKick, the Tailgate, presented by Farmfolio. And guys, this week, I don't know why, but when I was writing our Farmfolio Fact or Fiction, there were a lot of coaches at the top of my mind, and we're in that kind of coaching carousel part of the season. So get ready. This is the Fact or Fiction Coaches Edition.
This is one of my favorite times of the year because you've got legitimate games taking place with teams that are actually playing for something. And then the other half of the games are all teams that are playing for their coach's job, right? So it's this weird mix of, do I really want to watch Ohio State and Michigan State play for a spot in the playoff, or Dan Mullen play Missouri and Columbia in 18-degree weather fighting for his life,
Dan
right?
Mullen, for sure.
But these are the decisions we make on Saturdays.
We also fall for this every year. This is get a raise season. This is not get a new job season
for a lot of coaches.
And all of this is posturing and maneuvering for these coaches to get significant raises where they are.
Thank you for that segue, because we will start with Mel Tucker should be the highest paid coach in the Big Ten. If you look at it, it's rumored that he's going to receive $95 million is what they're throwing out there right now. So fact or fiction?
Well, it's a fact for about 5 or 6 weeks, and then he will no longer be the highest paid coach in the conference. Again, like we always fall for these headlines. There will be other coaches that will soon jump him, because it is also a fact that he's not deserving of this after 1 year at Michigan State. When you compare him to the other coaches in the conference. I mean, just look around this, Chad, and the options in the conference before you get to Mel Tucker. If we did a poll prior to the start of the season, where would Mel Tucker rank? And that's no fault of his. He's had a great year. Where would he rank on coaches that we thought would be the top coach in the conference? Because I think it's probably 10 or below. You could start naming a bunch of coaches in the conference that you would say would be paid higher than Mel Tucker. And, oh, by the way, he's getting this raise before he even plays Ohio State.
Well, and you're spot on. It's interesting. We could spend a lot of time talking about Michigan State and Mel Tucker and how he did this through the transfer portal. You know, Kenneth Walker's a transfer from Wake Forest. He's got a lot of guys starting on this team that are transfers from other programs, and he built it so fast by doing that. It's a sign of when you use the transfer portal, you can get good quick if you bring in the right guys, and you can really turn over your roster in a hurry. I said I would work in movie quotes when I can. There's a line in Jerry Maguire where Jerry is talking about Bob Sugar, the agent. He says, Sugar is a child. Jimmy Sexton is not a child, but Jimmy Sexton is the Bob Sugar of college football in that he is a cutthroat, money-hungry agent, and they all are. This is not me begrudging Jimmy Sexton. He's the most powerful man in college football.
100%.
He also happens to rep Mel Tucker.
Well, and Joe,
so he is. Hutton says this is raise season for coaches.
Yes.
Look at Lane Kiffin, a Jimmy Sexton client. Look at James Franklin, who just fired his agent this offseason and hired who? Bob Sugar / Jimmy Sexton. And then look at Mel Tucker now getting this mammoth raise at Michigan State. You can argue that Jimmy Sexton has done some good things for the sport, but what he's done ultimately is he has raised this insanely high roof for what coaches can make and just taken the market to levels that are almost out of control, and he's doing it again with Mel Tucker. I'm not saying that Michigan State should not do what they can to keep Mel Tucker. They should, but I'm looking at this contract and I'm thinking, is Mel Tucker really worth this after 2 years at Michigan State? I don't know, but that's what Jimmy Sexton wants, and Jimmy Sexton gets what he wants.
So Jeff Brom is begging LSU to name him as a candidate or have his agent. If it's not Jimmy Sexton, it should be, because Jeff Brom has the 2 best wins in the conference right now as a head coach. Ryan Day, meanwhile, has the 2nd best resume among current head coaches in the entire country, because he's about to go to his 3rd consecutive college football playoff. The only coach currently that has done that is Nick Saban. So Jim Harbaugh, we can continue to go down the list. Kirk Ferentz, Christ. There are a number of solid coaches in the conference. So it is a fact that he deserves to be the highest paid coach for the next 5 weeks. And then raise season will also lead us down a path where he's going to be like 4th or 5th by the time we roll around next year.
Heading to Boomer Sooner, Lincoln Riley is not going to leave Oklahoma. Fact or fiction?
I think that it's a fact that he's not leaving Oklahoma. I'll go to another movie quote, another football movie, Varsity Blues, where John Voight, as the head coach, goes to the trainer at one point and says, make him understand that he needs to get back in the game and take this shot to get back in the game. Everyone around Lincoln Riley needs to make him understand. And he needs to understand this. Oklahoma's headed to the SEC, right? So if there's some problem with Oklahoma and the Big 12, then you're going to remedy that problem when you move to the SEC. It is decided. The only time now that we're looking at is what's the time frame for him joining the conference, right? Is he going to go? Is Oklahoma going in 2 years? They're going in 4 years? Either way, they're headed to the SEC. And also, look at this as it's Oklahoma. They're one of the 3 or 4 teams that are routinely in the college football playoff.
He's about to go to the same conference, right? I think this is posturing for a big-time raise, unless LSU is going to position this where they give him an offer that Oklahoma's not willing to match.
Your guy, Dan Mullen, should not be dancing around the locker room after beating Samford. So they had scored 42 points, Samford did, in the first half, which was the most ever allowed by a Florida defense in a single half, overturning the previous mark of 38 set by Florida State in the 90s, when you thought a good team should be putting up that kind of numbers on Florida's defense. So, Dan Mullen, dancing or no?
Come on, Jill. This is a fact. This is one of those that do we even? I want to discuss it because it's so ridiculous.
That's why it's in the record.
He absolutely should not be
right
dancing in the locker room, and he should not be talking about, guys, we won the game. Look at all the points we scored. There's not. You hammer your team after a game like this. Every Florida fan is watching that game, and they appear smarter than their head coach when they are pissed off about that performance, because they should be pissed off. That defense was atrocious. That was a joke of a performance by Florida. Thank God for the Gators and their fans that their offense and Emory Jones pulled them out of the fire. But you are a coach with any power or any sense is hammering their team in the locker room after that game and what they did, giving up that many points to Samford, who's not even that good of an FCS team. No, you should not be dancing.
It's an absolute fact. And I'm even more appalled at his comments after the game, saying it was disrespectful to just get after them for winning a game. Well, it was an embarrassing win. That's just a fact as well in all of this. So, Jill, it's a fact he shouldn't be dancing after a win over Samford. But the fact that he's having to talk about embarrassing wins and getting all fired up with the media, where he's going through a stretch of playing Samford and Missouri today and Florida State, tells you he's a damn mad walking. If your coach is all of a sudden getting defensive in November and it's this schedule, you've got issues in Gainesville.